Welcome to My Wild Magic with me, your host, Adrienne Cobb. Join me on a journey back home to your truest self in this inspiring, enlightening, and entertaining show. After a near-death experience in a car crash at 15 years old, I made a choice to stay and brought back with me 3 simple truths that I found from the other side. Love is all there is. Our time is over here quicker than we think, and we all have a purpose, a soul blueprint to fulfill. On this show, you will find a higher purpose, a creative expression, and unique soul attributes that you can bring forth into this world. Stay tuned with me for the next hour and find your higher purpose on My Wild Magic, starting now. Welcome to the show today. I am Adrienne Cobb, and you're listening to My Wild Magic with Adrienne. Today, we're working with the Angelic Magic energy, and we'll be inviting into our call today, Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel is the one who plays the magical trumpet horn and brings in the flame of purity, governs the third eye right here, the sixth chakra here in the third eye, and brings into the energy the flame of purity, purification, seeing of higher truth, clarity in our life, issues, clairvoyance type energy. So we're going to go ahead and open up with that energy. Welcome any callers. If anybody wants a live angel reading today with their soul energy and Archangel Gabriel and the different angel cards we have here, please call in and I'd be happy to work with you live. Okay, so let's just open for a moment and center ourselves in the energy, because it's always good when you're going to tune in and do intuition work. It's good for us to be able to clarify our own energy, and you'll get a lot more out of the call as well, and the energy comes in a lot clearer. So we're going to begin just following the natural rhythm of our breath and just noticing the power of your breath, just breathing in and out. And you can watch that breath go up and down your spinal column. Just even a few breaths with your focus inward will recenter us. And in working with the angels and the energies, we're going to call into the Great Central Sun Angels, which is my tribe of light, the angels that I work with. They're always fun to play with and work with. And then beyond that, we're going to go ahead and send our energy up. And if you can imagine, there's like a portal of light. So when we pray or bless or get in touch with spirit, ask for guidance, imagine like a portal of light about 300 feet above our head. And we want to draw that pure love and light all the way down through us. So it's the frequency of pure love and light. So just drawing pure love and light in, around, and through, and kind of almost like plugging into the crown chakra and then streaming through all the other chakras, your nervous system, spinal column, the crystalline core of your energy field. And we're going to ask that pure love and light just radiate all the way through you, bringing all the systems of your body back into divine right alignment, harmonious perfection, balance, allowing that energy to align. And then we're going to send it all the way through the bottoms of the feet, out into the heart of the earth. And tapping into this grid, this new energy, this new earth energy, and then bringing that new earth energy, that very supportive planetary energy, all the way back up to the bottoms of your feet, your knees, your heart, and expanding around you, expanding all the way around your heart energy. I got crows in the background today. So yeah, good crow energy with us today. So okay, and so just sending it out all the way around the earth as a living blessing to all of life, and then opening that circuitry of energy back up for love or above energy coming back in, blessing you, blessing your day, blessing your soul blueprint. Okay, so that's just a really great beginning way to flush through your energy field with that cosmic energy, and it starts already clearing and cleansing energy the minute we do that. Okay, so today with Archangel Gabriel, we have a caller on the line, Karina from California. So it's going to bring Karina on. Okay.
Hi there, Karina.
Last name?
Hi.
Huh? First name?
Hey, can you hear me okay? And I'm just checking to see what question you might have today.
Get a cup of water.
Hey,
Yes.
Karina, you're on the line with Adrienne right now.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, can you hear me
Hello.
okay?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Yes, I can. I'm doing well. Thank you. Yourself?
Good. Doing pretty good. Yeah. So what questions do you have
Repeat.
today?
Well, I am in a transition, and I met someone brand new, and like right off from the beginning, it seemed too good to be true. I want to know, is this like too good to be true, or this is like something genuinely heaven sent for me?
Okay. So how long ago did you meet the person?
Um,
Did you say?
Yesterday.
So very new, as of
Very,
yesterday.
very
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
This is why I'm like, okay, is this too good to be true? Do I really need to, like, I don't know. I know God does miracles, but I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So just breathe in. And what you want to do is just follow the natural rhythm of your breath for a moment. And we're kind of moving the energy from any of your fears, unconscious issues, and projections and stuff like that. Clearing through that, we're going to call into Archangel Gabriel, overlighting both of us, any callers that are here with us today, overlighting your energy and the person that you've met. And with your energy on a soul level, it seems like you are actually searching for love. So it feels like it's not just random, as random as you might feel it is, but that there's a part of your soul that's actually been searching to be able to connect with somebody out of a loving energy. And your soul's wanting to love. It's wanting to, love and be loved, but it's also wanting to grow and learn more about the energy of love. And so your soul is actually kind of aligning this experience. And I would take it out of like, sometimes what we do is we put a lot of pressure on relationships to somehow be the one, or it's all going to be fantastic and all consuming with love. It's going to be the answer to all my problems. So more so, I want you to think about it like, let's say if your soul was searching, it opened up for an experience. This is the experience that came into you, and that you're open to check it out and to see what comes up with it. And it might be that you learn how to set better boundaries with people, because that may be something you haven't really done well in the past, is set better boundaries. It feels like in your heart, you have that you are a very love-based person. So your heart chakra for you is something that you communicate with quite a lot. And if it's disappointed or holding on to old issues, then who you are and that light that you're able to bring through won't be able to move through as well. So it feels like for you, your heart is actually wanting to grow and expand right now. One way that we can do that is relationships. Your heart can grow in a lot of different ways. Relationships just one way. And for you, it feels like relationship is the way your soul is actually going to help you grow the fastest. And it seems like some of what's going on in your heart. So again, on a soul level, you're a very loving person with a big heart that wants to love. But then the block that shows up is kind of more of a trust issue about maybe giving your heart to the wrong people, not necessarily feeling respected or honored along the way, and maybe over giving too much with other people, and then feeling that they have not really respected your love or acknowledged it on some level. Now, this pattern actually goes back into a relationship more so with your biological father, which you may or may not have even grown up with your dad. But if you did, either way, doesn't really matter. It feels like this pattern that you have about your heart, loving deeply and not trusting, being worried that you might get hurt, feels like it's coming more from the relationship with him at a very core level. And you've got some belief systems sort of tied up into that, almost making you choose people to play this pattern out with. So the big question about this particular relationship is, are you attracting in a partner where you're going to actually open your heart, love more deeply, and honor yourself along the way? Or have you attracted in kind of another partner that you're going to have to set boundaries with? And either way is really okay. So the first card that shows up for you, and this is relevant the Sacred Oracle cards. So that's the first one that showed up for you on a soul level. And the card that showed up is release the dark wound and let love live. Okay. Now you can tie that to a relationship and give this energy a chance with this person. But the bigger issue, like I said, is that it feels like you have a wound in the past, either coming from other partnerships. Maybe it's in your parents' relationship that you empath because you're a high empath, and it might be with your father directly. And it could be all three of those things tying this up that you're learning from. So this feels like this is an opportunity for you in your energy field to be able to let go of the old wounds that have caused you not to trust your own love. So I don't want you to be concerned about trusting the other person. I want you to focus more on trusting yourself and your own intuition. So with that, I'm gonna ask you, right, how do you feel about this person? Like, do you, when you listen to your own inner guidance system, your body wisdom, and your heart, what's your first instinct about you trusting yourself? Like, what's your feelings about the person? Do you want to do this? Do you want to check it out further?
Yes, I actually I want to check it out. I think like we're a perfect match, and I can't believe it because it's just I don't know, just on a dating app, his description and everything was so perfect, but I didn't know that until after, you know, he started sending me messages. He said he couldn't stop looking at my pictures. Then after I talked to him for a little bit via text on the app, I started to like kind of look at his stuff and check him out. And then like I couldn't sleep all night thinking about him. And I was like, okay, why is this happening to me? Like, this has not happened ever before. And I'm getting out of a long-term relationship. And like you said, that like a relationship could help me heal my heart or something of that. I thought I understood.
So we're going to go to a break, and just so hang on the line. We're going to come back in just a minute. Okay. So just hang on just for a second, and we'll be right back from a break, and we'll finish talking about this. Okay, welcome back. I am Adrienne. You're on with My Wild Magic with Adrienne on Transformation Talk Radio, and we are here doing live angel readings. We're working with Archangel Gabriel today, the angel of purity, purification, higher truth. And we have Karina from California on the line, and she was just talking to us about having met somebody online yesterday and just wondering how that energy was showing up for her. If it was beneficial or not. And one of the things that we're talking about is being able to, one of the first cards that shows up is releasing the dark wound from within yourself and letting love live. So this is really this relationship, and just where you're at in your life right now, I'd say in general, is that it feels like you're ready to heal some things in your heart that have been there in the relationship to your father, the relationship between your parents, and the relationship of past relationships where you might feel kind of disillusioned or that your love wasn't quite honored. And right now you've attracted somebody else in. And like I was saying about your energies, you have a huge heart, and it feels like your heart is very love-based. So it feels like you want to love somebody, right? And so sometimes that can be a sensitive thing, because when you go into something wanting to love, but not having good balance within yourself, you can overgive, overcare, or sometimes be taken advantage of, at times, right? And being able to work with that. So for you, if you were letting go of some of the wounds of the past and trusting your own intuition and your own instincts. So I was asking you the question, what do you actually feel like doing with this? And trusting your own, kind of your own heart and your own intuition. And you were saying that you actually do want to do this. You do want to check it out further. And, relationships, whether they're going to end up good or bad, it's more about how we're taking care of ourselves along the journey with it. So the other angel card, and this is from the Angelic Messenger cards, it's the card for potential. So right now it feels like, this energy does show up, that it does have potential to it. But like I said, when we work with Archangel Gabriel, regardless of how this relationship works out, it's more in this case about how you're treating yourself, how you're handling yourself. So in your intuition, which you have very high intuition, my guess is you might feel a connection to this person because it feels like you might have known this person actually from other lifetimes. And so sometimes when that happens, when you've actually known somebody, which happens, for us with people, we will have kind of a special connection with them, or a connection that feels almost immediate or very familiar to us because we know them on a soul level from other lifetimes. So the relationship feels like it actually could bring healing to both people, you and him, and be able to bring more healing there. But the key to how that healing is going to work, or how that relationship will work out, has more to do with you honoring your heart, your feelings, your body wisdom, and be sure that you're telling this person how you feel along the way. And if they don't, if they can't hear you or honor it, or kind of sort of disappear on you or whatever, those would be really good signs to know you don't really want to continue going into that energy. So for the beginning of this relationship and what you're doing feels like it has an alignment. But as you show up with your heart and hear yourself, you got to make sure you're speaking up, saying how you feel, what's working for you, what doesn't, and see how they respond. Because even if you have a good familiar connection with somebody, if they don't have the emotional maturity or spiritual maturity to meet you in that higher connection, it will usually be kind of painful, in the long run. So would you be, are you willing, since you're saying you want to check this out, are you also willing to make sure you stay committed to yourself, even more than the person? And that's kind of a direct
Yes.
question to Karina. Okay. So, and you kind of get
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
and so in your past, with your past relationships, if you look at your history, do you find that you have a history of maybe over giving, over loving, over not necessarily always honoring your feelings of what you want, but sort of going along with the other person a little more than maybe what's best for you?
Yes, I'm a big giver, huge giver, and I'm
Right.
starting to
And you
learn how
have
to
a,
say no.
yeah, and you have a huge heart. And that's the problem. Like, that's kind of the issue with people who have huge heart energy, is that it is sometimes hard to draw those boundaries, because you just want to love. That's what actually would bring you a lot of joy, right? So I want you to start thinking about it, that this relationship feels like it can be a healing relationship and kind of bring up a potential for both of you, but particularly for your own self-esteem, self-respect, self-love. And if that person can match you in the energy, it would be more of a long-term, more of a long-term relationship that you can work with, right? But if you're coming together and you can't honor yourself, it will more than likely be more of a short-lived relationship. So again, in this particular case, it doesn't really matter if the person's lying to you, you just met them online, you have no idea who they are, what's real, what's not. The most important thing is trusting yourself and trusting your body wisdom. So if your body feels like, this doesn't feel quite right, or this doesn't quite add up, don't let your mind or the other person talk you out of it. If your body feels good and you feel like you're in integrity with yourself and you're trusting your own feelings, then that energy you want to move towards. So you have to do a lot of the work here for this to kind of, and this would be with anybody, not just him, that you want to, you're like kind of at a fork in the roads right now in your life, where it feels like you really want to start learning more than being with somebody. You want to start learning how to trust yourself, because you have high intuition, a really big heart. It feels like you actually do have a great connection to angels in general. And if you'll start calling them in and asking them to show you the highest truth at all times. And so this is another thing that you can do, since you're entering into kind of an unknown territory with this person. And this would be true for anybody who's listening out there, is to start asking. When we ask our soul or the universe or source energy a question, it kind of has to answer us. Like, that's sort of the job that it does. So you start asking, please show me the highest truth about this relationship. Please show me the highest truth about this person. Please show me the highest truth about my own feelings and what's going on. And you ask the question, what is the highest truth here? What would it take for me to attract in a partner that is compatible, a compatible life choice for me that feels the best to me. So do you kind of understand that you don't want to put so much pressure on this person being a perfect person? You want to actually put more interest on how am I going to show up in the relationship? And okay, you get that, right? So that's going to be more the key to the energy around this. And again, your life lesson is more about learning how to trust yourself, your intuition, and your feelings, and really putting that loving energy towards somebody who really is ready to receive it. So that's the second thing I'd say about this person is, do they feel like they're like, you only had such short interaction with them, and in the beginning that can be a little hard to decipher what's real and what's not, but you're looking for somebody who can actually receive your love, be on the receiving end of it, and to take your energy in fully, and then to also be able to give back more fully, right? So in your past, I'm explaining the difference. Okay, there's a difference between giving somebody with your full heart, giving somebody what they want you to give them, and so you give it because they want it, versus giving somebody what you want to give them. See, that becomes unconditional. So if you're giving somebody something because they want it or need it, and there's an expectation to it, a condition to it, you'll do it, but it's almost going to feel like jumping through hoops. And eventually you might feel like it's never quite enough, whatever you're doing. Right. But if you turn around and you give what you want to give, it's like, it's going to be more fulfilling for you. And just seeing how that person receives, receiving who you are versus what they need or want from you. And it's okay to give people what they need or want at times, right? So I'm not saying not to do that, but if it gets out of balance to where you're always meeting the other person's needs, but you're not really getting to do what you want to do or love the way you want to love, then it short circuits your heart center, that flame of divine love that you're actually coming to experience. So how do you feel about that in terms of loving somebody the way you want to, and the freedom of that, versus loving somebody because you're wanting to only live by their terms? Like, how do you feel about that, or how have things been in your past?
Well, I feel that I have to learn how to love appropriately and unconditional from the heart, and learn that I cannot always get my way, and I don't need to get upset about it. I need to be more emotionally mature in order for me to have any relationship work.
Right.
And and in regards to this particular person, he'll be away for a month at a time, and I have to be able to trust and be able to be patient and be emotionally intelligent and mature for any relationship to work. Like you said, I have to pretty much do that for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just listening, really. It's really just listening to your own heart. You know what I mean? Like listening to your heart, your feelings, your body. That's the only responsibility I'm kind of suggesting that'd be helpful for you or any of us, all of us, is just to make sure you're listening. You're checking into your own inner listening, and your body wisdom, how your body feels about something. If you pay attention, no matter how much your mind may want something, right, you listening to your body's wisdom is going to tell you a lot, as well as your heart wisdom. And your angels communicate a lot to your heart too. So if you want to stay on the line, stay on the line. We're just going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back in just a minute. You're listening to My Wild Magic with Adrienne, and we'll be back in just a minute with Archangel Gabriel. Welcome back. I am Adrienne, and you're on with Adrienne, My Wild Magic with Adrienne. And we are working with Archangel Gabriel today, calling in that flame of purification, purity, clear sight, clarity, all that energy that works in the third eye. That Archangel brings in this crystal white flame that works through that third eye or intuition, clairvoyant area. And we're doing live calls today, live angel calls, and we're working with Karina from California about a new relationship that's just come in for her. So what we were talking about during the break is, how she will feel about this person that she just recently met online is gone a month at a time. And Karina, like when you're looking for a relationship, it's sometimes good to get clear about kind of making a list, almost like writing it out, what it is you're really looking for in a relationship. What are some of the qualities, the things that you just really don't want in a relationship that you are aware of now, and things that you really do want. And if this person's going to be gone for a month at a time and they don't quite live in your city either, they could relocate. It sounds like that's the potential. But do you feel okay? But like, are you looking for a relationship that is more somebody that can kind of share your life with you day in and day out? Or some people really like a distant relationship. So what's your preference? Like, what do you just like?
My normal would be somebody that is present, more present. But with this particular person, I have children of my previous relationship. So he did tell me, he plans to retire in 7 years, so it's not like a long-term thing. And I feel that being away for a while at a time, even though we will miss each other, with the technology these days, you can see somebody and talk to them. And then I will also be able to, spend the time that I need with my children when he's not there. Yet when he does come back, we could do it together, because it would be a hard transition for my children just to suddenly have this stranger so involved in our life. It might not be a hard transition, but I don't know. I really don't even know.
You don't,
After
and that's
all
okay.
that, I'll just tell you
have to
this.
know right now.
I don't know. I'm not
You
there.
don't. You do not know. You do not know. But what you do know about yourself, right, is somebody who can be a little bit more present with you. I think that was well said. And when you said it, I felt integrity in your energy field when you said it. So that's something that's maybe something you wouldn't want to compromise. You see what I'm saying? So you know that that's really what you're looking for in a relationship. And if this person continued to live in a different city or continued to be gone months at a time, it would kind of make sense that you probably wouldn't be super happy with that long term. But right now, having the distance or the space, because it feels like from what you said, you're coming out of a long-term relationship. And so for you to have some time to heal and maybe not jump back into something so intense right away could be good for you. You know what I mean? That might be nice to have some space. The only thing I would recommend is, I think that there's a lot to be said for meeting somebody in person, and just the willingness for somebody to meet you in person, so you don't feel like you're just being kind of catfished, right? Or sort of played or manipulated in some way. So I would say, if it, you give it a week or two, you guys are talking online, you're talking by phone, whatever. You are a highly intuitional person, a highly empathic person. And I think that being able to meet somebody and sit with them, not because you've put this projection onto them, but because you really are wanting to observe. You're still in an observatory phase right now, where you want to observe, how do I feel in the situation when I'm around this person? How do I feel when I'm talking to them on all levels, not just on a hyped up level, right? So trusting your intuition and meeting with them to see how real they really are. Like, does the pictures match what you meet in person? Are they willing to meet you in person, or is there still excuses that keep coming up? So there's some basic common sense things there, as you get into this, that I would, for sure kind of utilize. And like I said, at the same time, it feels like there's almost an instant connection, because you've probably had some past life connections with this person. that doesn't necessarily make it mean that it's going to be a perfect relationship or whatever, but there is a connection there. And to me, when I'm listening to Archangel Gabriel energy, it feels like it's a learning relationship, meaning that you and this person are coming together in this moment in time, perhaps, and that there is a lot of learning and a lot of growing for both of you. And that feels like the learning and the growing for both of you, if you continue with it, if you both stay on the same page, it feels like it's about 6 months. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing anything big like moving or doing any major big shifts for about the first 6 months, because it's more of a learning relationship. If it's only a learning relationship, you guys will learn what you're here to learn and then probably go in different directions. If it's a learning relationship that you can learn and then come more closely together, it'll probably take about 6 months for that to happen too. But it feels like if you can just be more observatory, really looking at yourself, your own emotional maturity and intuition and intelligence and spirituality and stuff, trusting your angels and your own intuition, it feels like that's going to be super, super helpful. Because right now in the learning relationship, what you're learning is how to trust yourself, take care of yourself, and to learn how to love boldly, love the way you want to love, and not feel like you're overgiving, but also not feel like you're being manipulated by somebody, that you're loving the way you want to love. The other person, it feels like they're learning how to let love in. It feels like they also have trust issues, kind of opposite of you. So it feels like you have a trust issue where you overgive, and maybe you're not quite trusting yourself and you're overgiving in order to have somebody love you. This person that you're wanting to date feels like they also have maybe a trust issue, but it feels like they don't necessarily let love in. Sometimes that can be that they want to be more in control of something, or it's just, they say they want to be loved, but they may not actually let the love in. So if they could learn how to let your love in, and you could learn how to love the way you want to love, not the way somebody needs you to love, then it feels like that actually grows the relationship and could be a healing to what you're both learning. So do you have any questions about the learning part of this relationship over this first maybe early 6 months, if you stay with it that long?
Yes. In regards to the learning, I would have to learn how not to be possessive, because I remember I know in my previous relationship, I was very possessive, and so with the whole
But at least
distance
you're
thing.
owning it. I mean, that's awesome. You're owning it, putting it on the table. It sounds like, so what do you think would help you with that? Like sometimes we get possessive of other people when we're not actually, we need that person to love us or choose us. And when they don't, and we get possessive or jealous or whatever, it's because we're not staying connected to ourselves. So one thing I would recommend, especially if this person is gone for a month at a time, because the more you like this person, love this person, connect to this person, the more that side of you obviously could come out. Well, what are they doing? They're gone for a month. Are they seeing other people? I mean, it's kind of human nature almost, right? That you don't know this person well enough to have built that kind of trust yet, maybe. So the shortcut to that for yourself is what you do is, it's sort of like we started the show with, you focus upward about 300 feet above your head. It's like this portal of light. It's source energy. You command that pure love and light down through your system, right? Through your crown chakra, like you're plugging in into your, your chakras, into your heart, start filling your heart up, ground it all the way through your chakras to the bottom, to the heart of the earth, and then bring that energy from the earth back up. And what that does is it brings you into vertical alignment with yourself. Because a lot of times what we want to do in relationships to other people is we want to make them our focal point, the center of our universe, God, a parent's love that we didn't have, self-love that we're not giving ourselves. So we project onto the other person. So if you're having issues of being possessive of somebody, you might be giving them too much credit and not staying in vertical alignment with yourself. So it puts a lot of pressure on the other person. And sometimes if you find you're possessive, it can actually push the other person away, or the jealousy, whatever you're worried about, might actually cause it to happen too, because the person picks up on your thought forms and starts acting out in ways that you're suggesting them to act out. So do you understand how to stay connected with yourself? That's going to help you keep balance in yourself so that you don't flip out on the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Very
what I mean?
true. In my
You have to
previous
have
relationships, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my previous relationship, it's one relationship, I was not true to myself. I would tell myself, okay, do not blow this out of proportion. Do not blow it. And guess what I would do? Blow it out of proportion.
I hear you. I'm a very
And
emotional
so,
person myself, so I get it.
so I'm like, okay, you just sabotaged yourself. All right, you shot yourself in the foot. You did not
Right.
listen to yourself here.
Well, yeah. So it sounds like from what you're saying is that you're also a very passionate person because you love people who love very deeply don't necessarily hide their emotions or whatever. They may want to overgive to other people and please other people, but they can be very passionate, about things as well. And
I'm very
again,
passionate. Mm-hmm.
and that's good. I mean, passion is a great energy to have. It's just being able to channel it. Not like if you're channeling passion, which is a very fiery, almost kind of aggressive type energy, right? Passion, right? Good energy. But if you're outside of yourself doing passion, it can create whirlwinds and chaos and all kinds of problems for yourself, right? So if you take passion, any emotion really, and you get out away from the center of yourself, it creates these big vortexes of other stuff, right? But when you come back to center within yourself, that passion is directed in a way that can be super beneficial to everyone around you. So we're going to go to another break. We'll be right back in just a moment. I'm Adrienne with My Wild Magic with Adrienne, and we will stay tuned. We'll be back in just a second. Okay, welcome back. I am Adrienne. You're listening to My Wild Magic with Adrienne on Transformation Talk Radio. And we are, today our show is on Angelic Magic. We're working with Archangel Gabriel over lightiness and learning how to give us clarity in our energy field. We are doing live readings. We have Karina from California on the line. And during the break, she was asking about, does this person feel like he's lying? Does he feel like he is honest? He feels like he's honest. And of course, when we love somebody, we want to think they're honest. And sometimes I think people who are talking to us do think they're being honest too. And the cool thing about the whole deception and lying question is that it's an awesome one for Archangel Gabriel, because Archangel Gabriel is like this crystal white flame of purification that amplifies your third eye to be able to see more clearly. So in this case, calling in Archangel Gabriel and asking, please show me the highest truth about this person. Please show me the truth about whatever is going on in the conversation, the truth about what's in highest alignment for me with this. So asking the angels for assistance goes a long way. And Archangel Gabriel is a really good one for clarity around situations that we may be having a hard time not knowing exactly what the deal is. So what I was explaining to Karina is that sometimes with people, they do feel like they're telling you the truth to the best of their ability. They really do feel like they're telling you the truth. But what most of us do have is unconscious issues. And those unconscious issues kind of build up in our pain body, but they're in our unconscious. And so based on woundedness or things that we've had in our past, there may be certain things that we are maybe not quite being honest with ourselves about, and we're projecting our best to the other person. So Karina, with your intuition and also learning how to work with Archangel Gabriel to show you, I would start asking, what is the most aligned relationship for me? Is this the most aligned relationship for me? Please show me the highest truth about this person. Show me my highest truth. Like, is this something I really want? That will actually, even by asking the question, you're going to start seeing information. As long as you're not blinding yourself to it, you will literally start seeing information show up that makes it more obvious to you. So the big thing is, if you're going to ask for truth, you want to be able to see it and not kind of, blind yourself from seeing the truth for what it is. So this person feels like they do have a good heart. It feels like they have their own woundedness in them. And that's something you're probably going to see in most people. So it's not to not get in a relationship with somebody who has woundedness, but it's kind of like how conscious and honest they're willing to be with themselves. So even more than being honest with you, it might be learning how to attract people into your life that can be more authentic, honest, genuine with themselves. And so that's something to kind of look for, how they communicate, how they talk. Are they building everything up to be built bigger than life? Are they, is everything always positive? Do they have the capacity to have deeper conversations with you about things that maybe aren't as pleasant, or things that are just going on in your life? You know, so that's something. So do you have a history of attracting people in that aren't honest, or do you have a history? Because it feels like you're actually overall a pretty good judge of character. Right now, you might be in a vulnerable position because you're leaving a long-term relationship, but overall, Karina, it feels like you're a good judge of character. Particularly, what you're a good judge of is a person's heart. And I think that's actually probably why you like this person.
Yes, possibly so. I mean, because he definitely does have a lot of wounds in his past. And I basically I do too, but not to his degree. But it would be more of a, I don't know. I think I'll have to be very patient, not patient, but thoughtful and aware of his wounds, and not want to cause any more wounds, but at the same time learning how to set boundaries and how to remove toxic people as soon as I see the red flag. As soon as you see the red flag, it's like, okay, no.
Yeah, right. Because sometimes when people are deeply wounded, they might also be kind of needy or looking for somebody to take care of them. And that's not necessarily going to be your healthiest relationship for where you're at in your life either right this moment, unless you want to keep doing that. But it feels like you actually have an opportunity to align with first and foremost, the relationship to yourself. It feels like this is a golden opportunity for you in your life right now. I'd say over this next 6-month period, to really be building that relationship within yourself and to yourself, and asking your angels to help, and doing things that feel loving for you, that feel good for you, where you're getting to know yourself, you're getting to experiment and have an experience of yourself in the world without the responsibility of a partnership. You know what I mean? There's only certain things you can learn when you're in partnership, and only certain things you can learn when you're not. And so right now, not being in partnership per se does give you this window, this ability just to take a breath and just figure out who you are and what you're about. So that's a positive thing, right? And so having some space with this person might be helpful for that. But like I said, it feels like you are a good judge of people. And I would wonder if you also feel like your father, in this case, your biological father, did you consider him somewhat kind of a wounded person? That he has deeper wounds that he had not really worked through?
Mm-hmm. Do I consider my father a wounded person? That's your question?
Yes. Do you feel, looking at your dad, that maybe he also had some deeper wounds, particularly around love, the ability to love and be loved, that you sensed or knew or know now as a child?
Yes, I do believe that my father had some wounds, but not just him, my mother as well.
Right.
Both of them, deep wounds. Yes.
Right. Deep wounds. Okay. So this is the other thing to watch for in relationships when you have a habit, right? Sometimes we pick relationships out of habit because it's familiar to us. And so one thing to also watch for, whether it's this person or somebody else, is, am I picking somebody that matches one of my parents' wounds? Because a lot of times we want to heal, we wanted to heal our parents, and maybe we didn't feel like we were successful at that. And then when we get a little bit older, we'll start picking partners or maybe people that we work with or friends that also have similar type wounds. And the logic of a child is that if I could just use all the love that you have, right? This love that you have, if I could just use all my love, and I could heal this partner, they would love me the way I really wished my parents, and in this case, my father, would have been able to love me, right? So a lot of times we'll take who we are as a healer, this higher part of who we are as a healer, an empath, an intuitive, and we'll want to use those higher gifts to heal the people in our life because we feel like we're missing something. When you realize that you're whole and you're okay, that you didn't actually need your father's love or your mother's love to make you whole, and you start realizing that all this amazing source, pure love, pure light energy that floods through you is going to start giving you a true reflection of who you are. And in the true reflection of who you are, what happens is you don't need other people to validate you anymore. So what you've probably been doing, especially if you have possessiveness or whatever, but if you have energy like that, you may have been looking for people to approve of you in your life to validate your love. And so that's one of the other things that you're learning and maturing in your energy field, is that you don't, when you feel whole, and like I said, this thing with source energy and pulling pure love and light all the way through your body to the heart of the earth, grounding and coming back up, is amazing, because what happens is the more you do it throughout the day, just washing it through your system, you wake up in the morning, throughout the day, when you go to bed, you're going to start feeling so deeply loved by this higher source energy that's not wounded. It's going to start reflecting back the truth of who you are outside of the reflection of other people who probably have their own issues. And then you're going to realize that you're whole. And from the wholeness, you'll start attracting whole experiences and relationships into your life, not the wounded ones. And the fact that he is so wounded is another indicator. This is a learning relationship, and just to keep an eye out on that. So we've kind of come to the close of our call today, but thank you so much for calling in, Karina. I hope that's been helpful. Keep remembering to call in Archangel Gabriel's energy to bless you and to bless this energy between you and him for higher truth. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. Definitely, if after we finish here, if you want to continue the conversation,
yeah, sure. And we're gonna
of the location of where I am, that would be awesome.
And we're gonna go ahead and close up our call now, but we'll talk in just a minute as soon as the call's off. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to My Wild Magic with me, your host, Adrienne Cobb. Each one of us has a soul purpose on this earth and a higher purpose full of creative expression and unique soul attributes. Make sure to tune in next week on transformationtalkradio.com to continue your journey home to your truest self and pursue the path of unconditional self-love. If you would like to learn more about me, visit mywildmagic.com. Again, that's mywildmagic.com.